What's up, everyone? Time to talk Blood Drive, Episode 8, Fistful of Blood. Now, this is what I would consider the Western episode. And at the same time, I want to apologize for taking forever to upload this recap. I spent the latter of a week or so in grief that my Sharknado week was a total bust since nobody watched it. But I digress. I also spent the latter of 3 days, Friday, and going to a beer bender and spending the next 2 days in the freaking, crawl space of Hangoverville. So, but here I am. Let's talk Episode 8. Moving on, back to my recaps. So this starts off like a Western. They're out in the desert and they get pulled over by this cop dude. And, he's like this crazy, small town sheriff. And they get to the town and they get their bombs taken out of their neck. So this leads me to think, well, what's going to go if they don't have the neck bombs anymore? That means they don't have to race anymore. So I'm like, what's going on here? Are we still in a blood drive? Are we still in a race? Because without the neck bombs, I don't see where the direction the show is going to go. At this point, it's just kind of like a smorgasbord of violence, which I could totally get into. I could just watch a show that's week in, week out violent. But I would like to see them get back into the mentality of racing and blood drive, essentially. They get to this town and this episode more or less felt it was trying to be a Western, but it felt more like this movie with Denzel Washington called Book of Eli. First, I don't know, because they're charging stuff and there's two conflicting towns fighting over energy. Slink shows up and he fights with Grace over a bottle of whiskey, and I don't know what's going on with Slink. And the showdown is Arthur gets shot, and because the sheriff wants him to work for him, and because he sees Arthur's a cop. But Arthur's realized this sheriff's kind of screwed up. He wants to hang a bunch of kids, and he's like, I'm not going to do that. So he strings up Arthur, but at the nick of time, Grace comes in and saves him, but he still gets shot, which leads us to the cliffhanger, and Slink is sent by Hart Corporation to bring back Grace and Arthur. So I think that's kind of what I think the driving force of the show is going to be they're running away from Slink and trying to keep out of the blood drive. And that was the main gist of this episode. I wouldn't call it a filler episode. I like the idea. I love, Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and all those Western films. I like Western movies. I'm Clint Eastwood, Once Upon a Time in the West, Django Unchained even. But this, I think it lacked the essence of a Western. It felt very much like this theme park that I used to go to near me. It's called Wild West City, where they're obviously doing some kind of skit, and they got the town drunk, which I felt like a couple days ago. Which you always say you're not going to drink for ever, but I'm probably going to take a break for a while. But decent episode, like I said, has some cool stuff. Yeah, that was a Fistful of Blood. I will be right back for episode 9, which is Chopsaki Special.